The Dallas Mavericks fall 127-123 to Real Madrid as they storm back in the fourth quarter. Harrison Graham, Jeffrey Cooperstein. This isn't really going to be a traditional post-game show. We're going to talk about the news headliner of the day that came in just minutes before tip-off here from Marc Stein. We'll get that note right off the bat. The Mavericks tell Bally Sports Southwest that they will have to limit Luka Doncic to roughly 5 minutes of playing time in his Real Madrid homecoming game due to a left calf strain. So, Coop, that is exactly what we saw. I think he played 452, 453.
He ended up with 9 points in those minutes. He hit 3 threes. Look, he looked okay. He was moving around a little bit. I think seeing him out there on the court probably lessened my concern a little bit of the severity of the injury. I think if this was against any other team, I think if this was a regular season game, Luka probably wouldn't have played, but it was his homecoming. He wanted to play in front of the Madrid fans. So he got out there for the first 5 minutes and showed out for those fans and still made an awesome appearance there in Madrid.
Yeah, and I think really the discussion here, Coop, is should we be concerned? The Mavs have 10 days off before their preseason finale, 14 days until the season opener, because I made this note before the game of 2 years ago when the Mavericks made the playoffs. In the final game of the regular season, Luka strained his calf, and he missed the first 3 playoff games against the Utah Jazz. So
it's not an injury you want to mess with, and calf strains can lead to other worse things like, knock on wood, a torn Achilles and stuff like that.
We saw that with Kevin Durant.
Exactly. So it's not something you want to mess with whatsoever. I will say, though, seeing Luka move around, it looked like he was moving all right, so I'm not really as concerned as I was when I first saw that tweet.
Yeah, look, there's different severities of calf strains. It depends on the location. There's grade 1s, grade 2s, all this stuff, all this, medical information that I'm not an expert at. But I got to think, Coop, if this was even somewhat severe, the Mavericks would not have let him play. Now, I get this. These are extenuating circumstances. He played for Real Madrid. He considers that a second home of his. They helped him become the player he is today. I mean, we saw him address the crowd in Spanish before tip-off. I'm sure thanking them for, being awesome fans and whatnot.
And I'm sure the Mavericks had to fight Luka Doncic on this. I doubt the Mavericks wanted him to play at all. And Luka probably went to them and said, no, I'm absolutely playing in this game. Whether it's 5 minutes, whether it's 1 second, I'm playing.
But I still got to think if it was at a certain level of severity, they would have refused to let him play.
Yeah,
right?
Probably. You're probably right.
I don't think you put him out there if you're thinking you could shred his calf.
Yes, no doubt.
I just don't think that would fly. So let us know, with all of that being said, what is your concern level over Luka Doncic and his calf strain injury? I'll put it at a 5, Coop. I think any of that time it's a calf or really any soft tissue injury, you have to be somewhat concerned. But
I'm going to go with like a 4, I think, just because, like I said,
he went out there and looked okay.
He went out there and looked fine, so it's not something you obviously want. You want your star player to be healthy, but it doesn't look like it's a very serious injury.
Talk more about this, get an update on Kyrie Irving as well as he continues to nurse an injury. But first, I want to tell you guys about our sponsor today, and that is Prize Picks. If you want to spice up your game day experience, get started with Prize Picks right now. Prize Picks is a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game to help you have just more fun on game days. And here's how it works. You could pick up to 2 to 6 players within the same game, different teams, different sports, etc. And if they will go for more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any given entry if you do a 6-pack. I got a 2-pack here, season-long projection since the regular season isn't here yet. I took the more on Luka Doncic points. I think he's going to average 32 or more. I took less on Kyrie Irving. I think he'll be an efficient scorer, but I think in the 23 to 24-point range is probably where I think he will sit. Maybe he ends up proving me wrong. Maybe he'll average a little bit more. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS to get started today. Create an account with that link. Use the promo code CLNS. That's going to get you a deposit match up to $100. The best part about Prize Picks, you're not playing other players. You're not playing against pros or sharks. You're playing against the projections. Take more, take less, make your picks. Get started with Prize Picks right now. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. Now, Kyrie wasn't injured today, but he did not play the final 2 games of this international preseason trip as he's been dealing with the groin soreness, Coop.
Yeah, hopefully Kyrie's okay. I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. It sounds like if this was a regular season game, Kyrie probably would have suited up, but no reason to rush him back or anything like that, especially with the Mavs having 10 days off in between the game against Real Madrid and their final preseason game against the Pistons. Kyrie will be fine, and I think he'll be ready to go for opening night, so no really concern here.
Yeah, when it comes to Luka and Kyrie, I don't really need to see them in the preseason finale. If they want to get Kyrie out there, if he's fully healthy, ready to go, play him for a quarter or something like that, that's cool. I would not play Luka even if he's back to close to 100%. I just don't think you need to. Like, he's, if anything, you want to save the mileage there. So that's kind of where I sit. But look, I mean, regardless of the severity, Coop, your two best players are dealing with something before the season even starts.
It's never what you want, man.
You don't want that.
Especially, and we know Kyrie's history with injury and with unavailability in general, so it is definitely a bit of a red flag that you don't want to see before the season, and it just gives you a little bit of uneasiness in your stomach when you see your top two players who are supposed to carry you back to the postseason that are dealing with stuff.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hopefully with these 10 days off, put these guys on ice for a bit and get them healthy for the regular season. What do you guys think? More or less than 65 games played for Kyrie Irving? Type M for more, L for less. Anything more than 65, I'd be thrilled with, Coop, because I don't think he's played more than 65 in like 4 years.
Yeah, 65 would be a great number, even if he tied that as well. I mean, you're hoping Kyrie's available for as long as he can, but like I said, we know the history with him. There are games where he's just unavailable for, whether it's a personal day, he has a sore ankle, this or that. There's always questions around Kyrie's availability. Hopefully this year is different, and he plays a lot for the Mavs.
Couple quick thoughts on the game today, Coop. Now, be sure to subscribe and join us tomorrow for an episode. We're going to have some Mavericks preseason winners and losers from the first 3 international games. You can just throw that live sub count total. We're trying to get to 25,000 subs on the channel. Shout out to all of our new subscribers here on the channel that we picked up on the watch party. I think we got about 30 new subscribers on board. What we do here at Mavericks Today is we cover the latest Mavericks news, rumors, injury updates like we have today. We'll talk about some of these games during the season as well, and we want to do more live watch parties. So if you're interested in that, let's get to 25,000 subs before opening night. We got 2 weeks to do so. Okay, with that being said, this game today, I'm sure it's gonna go viral on social media. The Mavericks lost
they're gonna
to
get
Real
roasted
Madrid
on NBA Twitter.
Now, do I think they played awesome? Absolutely not. I mean, Real Madrid led for pretty much the entire first half into the last couple of minutes. Mavericks were able to go on a run and go up 6 at halftime. They got all the way up to, I believe, 13.
Yes.
And then Real Madrid kind of scratched and clawed. They stayed in it. And then the Mavs kind of emptied out their bench with some deep reserves, a couple of guys that probably won't even make the team. And Real Madrid played their normal rotation guys, and they put them away. You'd like to see the young guys in that opportunity, Coop, close out a game. They were unable to do so, but I can't say I'm surprised. Guys like Facu Campazzo and obviously Eddie Tavares and
Mario Hezonja.
Rudy Fernandez, Mario Hezonja, those players are probably better than Jelly Walker. And
there is no question
and
they are.
Dexter Dennis, and quite frankly, Rashawn Holmes. I think we're going to talk about him tomorrow. I think
Rashawn Holmes will be a loser, teaser.
Rashawn Holmes stinks. And I think that's my biggest takeaway without diving into winners and losers specifically, Coop. We'll save that for tomorrow. The Mavs have a center problem. I think we kind of knew that, but it might be more severe than we
Derek
thought.
Lively is okay right now, but if you're asking him to play 30 minutes a game, I think the Mavs are in trouble. We know what Dwight Powell brings you, and it's not much. He's not going to bring you rebounding. He will be good on a pick and roll with Luka. He'll be okay for 15 minutes, but that's really it. The Mavs absolutely have a center problem. And before we dive into that more often, I want to say this as well. Real Madrid's a very good basketball team. So it's not like the Mavericks lost to a horrible team here. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely alarming to see, especially on the defensive glass.
Yeah.
This team really can't rebound very well, and that extends to Lively, who, while is athletic, he's just not basketball ready to play in the NBA.
Yeah, he fouls too much. He's still raw on both ends. Like, again, it's like you see this in sports all the time, Coop. Teams try to make players more than what they are, especially with a rookie like this. Like, don't ask him, he's the next Tyson Chandler. Well, was Tyson Chandler a 35-minute player as a rookie? No, he was not. So I just think you got to temper the expectations on this kid. And if you're Dallas, look, I expect the Lively, Powell, Holmes trio to enter the season as the center rotation, although I think Holmes is unplayable.
The Mavs cannot go 25 games into the season without making
I think you give this about 10, 12 games, Coop, and if it's glaring, you got to make a move. Like,
Rashawn Holmes was awful out there. There were a couple of plays where Facu Campazzo, Mavericks legend from last season, if you remember, he just blew by him, and Holmes just didn't even contest the shot.
So, yeah, Campazzo would blow past the guard, and then you're thinking, okay, any decent center is going to play help defense. None.
Rashawn Holmes just stood there.
I don't think he's unplayable, Coop.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. The Mavericks definitely have a center problem, and I think they may have a slight depth problem now. Like you said, it was guys that are like 18 to 20 on the Mavericks exhibition roster who closed that game out. So I don't know really what to make of it other than Real Madrid looked really good at the end and the Mavericks didn't.
Yeah, and just final thought on the center situation. Coop and I were kind of joking, but I think we were mostly serious. I think both of Real Madrid centers of Poirier,
no doubt,
and Eddie Tavares are better than Rashawn Holmes.
Yeah,
and maybe Dwight Powell.
They might be better than Dwight Powell. I think they would be in the Mavericks rotation.
That twosome might be better than the Mavericks rotation at center.
Not good, man. Not good at all.
That's a big problem for the Dallas Mavericks. All right, more thoughts tomorrow, like we said. If you love the Mavs, hit that like button. Appreciate you all for tuning in. He's Jeffrey Cooperstein. My name is Harrison Graham. Mavs go winless on their international trip, 127-123 loss to Real Madrid.